Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Tyler and I'm a current learner of French. On this channel, I like to discuss about languages and how to learn them better and more efficiently. This is for all language learners, of course, and this is more so on my experience of how I'm learning my language and what I find helpful that I think can be applicable to you guys as well. Now today, I wanted to discuss how to go about learning a language. Now I know many of us are probably already learning a foreign language, and if you haven't already, you most likely have hit your plateau or you're in the midst of a plateau. And it definitely sucks when you invest a lot of time into a language and you can't speak as well as you would like in your foreign language. And I definitely throw myself for a loop trying to go back and learn grammar or learn more vocab, thinking that I will come out with better speaking skills. Though in reality, it's not that you need to go back and relearn the basics, but more so you need to have consistent practice with each skill. Luckily though, if you're just starting, you can avoid a plateau if you set yourself up for success. Now, of course, the plateau area is where you get stuck, where you're not making as much progress as you did when you first started learning your language. And this is totally normal. And everyone's plateau will look different depending on how much time you put into learning each skill. Though I do think the biggest offender here is definitely speaking, as some of us will excel in grammar or writing and listening, but when it comes to speaking, I think a lot of us might fall off in that area. In my opinion, I think a lot of the plateau contributes to how you start the language as how you're going to maintain the language. Normally in the start, when you're picking up a foreign language, you'll hear many different opinions on the internet, being some people believe that grammar is the best way, or that vocab is the best way, or that speaking is the best way. I've heard them all, and I've definitely played my hand in all three as well. Now, this isn't to say that you just stick to only one thing out of the three. Some people like to just go into phases, and some people, which I have seen before, have only stuck to speaking before. Though I do think that concept is what gets us stuck in the plateau, is when you're first learning your language, a lot of people start off with either an app or grammar or vocab, one of the three. Normally, you kind of maintain that routine as you go along, and when you get up to a higher level to where you're comprehending more and you're understanding more, you're putting in the same level of effort that you have been from when you first started learning the language. And that is normally how the plateau comes about, is that you're not diversifying your areas of learning to become better at your foreign language. And the truth is, I think a lot of these are viable, but they will never be able to work alone. After my last video, which if you guys have not seen already, I suggest you guys check out, I've been thinking of how I can apply that knowledge to my learning, and specifically when it comes into relations with Stephen Krashen's study, who is an American linguist. He had the study where he talked about a comprehensible input hypothesis. And I stumbled across this study while looking into why grammar is inefficient for learning a foreign language. And within Stephen Krashen's model, he claimed that you cannot learn a foreign language through speaking. He then went on to say that you can only learn a language through the level that you can comprehend, and that is the level that you can produce at, which I agree to an extent. And I think this conclusion definitely clicked from drawing comparisons to English. I mean, if you're a native English speaker and we look at the English language, many of us don't know the English language extensively. Though that is not to say that we can't produce the English language at an efficient level. And let's just use grammar for an example. A lot of us wouldn't be able to identify every single grammar tense on paper, even if it was given by definition. Though just because you don't know every single grammar tense by definition doesn't mean that you can't speak or differentiate from proper and improper grammar from when you're speaking. The point being is that none of these things will not be able to efficiently work alone to help you get to fluency in your foreign language. And if English is your native language, a lot of you guys wouldn't be able to tell me what a past perfect continuous tense is, though you guys could definitely point it out if it was on paper and you had several options to choose from. And the same can be said for reading with elevated vocab. A lot of us can read a passage with advanced vocabulary, but when it comes to trying to produce that same message with similar vocab, a lot of us would not be able to do so. For example, look at this paper that I pulled offline discussing the impact of artificial intelligence on undergraduates' creative writing skills at a university in northeastern Nigeria. Now, as you can see, this passage has a lot of advanced vocab that most of us can understand, though if we were asked to reproduce this message with similar vocab and with the same fluency, most of us would not be able to do so. And I believe all of us have the ability to understand advanced vocab, but to actually reproduce on that same level only comes down to how much you actually practice with that advanced vocab. So what I'm trying to say here is that I don't think that 100% your comprehension is tied to production, because you can definitely comprehend some advanced vocab, but it wouldn't really equate to how well you can produce and formulate sentences. And I think the same can be said for learning a foreign language. A lot of us will find ourselves stuck in learning just one way, whether that's grammar, vocab, or speaking. And that's where I think this plateau starts to creep in slowly, as when you lock yourself to just learning one thing, that you fall behind in different aspects. And that is to say that you need to have repetition in order to solidify those patterns in your mind. And that's between every skill. So what does this have to say for anything? Well, I think that the best way to go about learning a language is to have everything incorporated in your practice to some extent. Ultimately, I think this will help get over the plateau or even circumvent it, though it's not guaranteed, as I myself have already hit the plateau. And I only think the way you can really get around it is by switching up your routine and making sure you're doing everything with more consistency. You won't get through that block if you're just putting in the same amount of effort as you did when you first started out the language. Though as a beginner, I wouldn't say that you need to focus on grammar, vocab, and speaking when you're first starting out, because that might be a little bit hectic when you're first trying to tackle everything at once. So I definitely do think there is an order. Me personally, I would say that vocab is the way that I would go first, then grammar, but I wouldn't spend any more than a week to 2 weeks just by briefly brushing over the rules and getting a good grasp of vocab. I do think you should try to challenge yourself as quickly as possible into practicing with each skill every day consistently to some extent, as I think that will better help you circumvent a plateau and make sure that you are making efficient progress along the way as well. But that is it for me for today, and that is what I believe to be the best way to start and to continue learning a foreign language. If you're in a plateau with your foreign language, I don't think that you're incapable, but it might be that you've been learning about the language more so than actually using the language. Definitely let me know your guys' opinions down below. I do believe that if we all share our wisdom and our knowledge on learning languages, we can all effectively learn them better. Hopefully I'll see you guys all next time around. If you guys haven't already, I would love for you guys to join me back for my next videos. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Thank you.